Good morning. November is National Alzheimer's Month. Last month we talked with Kathy Vancleave, who is with the Mississippi State Department of Mental Health, about Alzheimer's and some different signs to look for and different things that come about if you're dealing with someone with Alzheimer's. But I was so interested in what you told me, Kathy, because as most of you know, that is very dear to my heart, is Alzheimer's. But I wanted Kathy to give you some ideas about if you are living with an Alzheimer's patient or suspecting that you have someone in your home or in your family that has the disease, of some things that you actually can do that will help you.
Okay, thank you, Sue. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk about those, what we call tricks of the trade. There are things that people can do within the home to help make it easier for the individual with Alzheimer's. First and foremost is to simplify the environment. Especially now during the holidays, we really need to work to make things simple. So a lot of the clutter, the things that we think we have to have by our side, we need to really simplify that. Look for things that the individual can do, things that they used to enjoy. If there was a favorite pastime that they had, say it was needlepoint or even reading a book, doing puzzles, those kinds of things. And make those activities available, say next to their favorite chair. But be sure that they can actually see that. As we age, there's a phenomenon called the yellowing of the iris that takes place. So things begin to take a yellow tint. But with that also, a person with Alzheimer's disease begins to have problems with their visual spatial skills. It means that their depth perception is off a little bit. So a black mat on the floor looks like a hole. Now that can be advantageous to you if the person is wandering and they're agitated. You can put a black mat in front of the door and they'll go around it most of the time because they think it's a hole and they don't want to step in it.
Interesting.
Where that also becomes a challenge is if the person's having problems going to the restroom in the proper place in the bathroom. Let's say you've got a beige wall, you've got tan floors and a tan commode. Where is the individual going to go to the restroom? They're going to choose the black trash can in the corner because they can actually see it. So you want to use some contrast there. Paint goes a long way. You can paint the bathroom wall a bright color so that they can actually see the commode and then go there. And then if you have a dark bath mat in front of your commode, you want to change that out to a lighter color. Again, so that part doesn't look like a hole and it doesn't look scary. So just simple things like that. If the person has stopped eating or isn't eating as much, again, look at what they're doing. If you have a white plate, chicken, rice, and green beans, what is that individual going to eat? They're going to eat the green beans, but only if they like green beans, because they can't see the chicken, they can't see the rice. So if you put that on a red plate, now you have chicken that they can see, the rice they can see, and everything has contrast. So just some simple tidbits there that the individual can see. So.
That is so fascinating to me. I'm telling you, I would never have thought of any of those tips. I would not have. And they're so simple.
They are.
But they totally make sense.
They do.
I mean, they really do, having dealt with an Alzheimer's patient, that completely does make sense. But the clutter that bothers them. But I think the mat is very interesting, and as a way to keep them from going into an area that is unsafe for them.
Exactly. For a person who has Alzheimer's, Sue, it's not a question of if they're going to wander. The question is when. And so there are things that we have to do to keep that person safe. If a person is living at home and they do have Alzheimer's disease, you want to be sure that they have some type of an identification, either a bracelet or a piece of jewelry or something that they wear. There are several resources that are available, from Medical Alert, Safe Return, something as simple as just an ID bracelet. There are things you can get at the local drugstore that have medical records stored on them. You want to include cognitive impairment in that. And then you can also do things that are even more advanced, such as a GPS system and a device that affixes to their clothing, or that's also a bracelet. So there are many things that will help to make that person safe at home. Many times families will say, but mom doesn't wander. And again, I say, the question is not if, it is when. So you've got to be prepared.
These are facts. You have to be prepared. I hope you'll listen to more of our series on Alzheimer's, because it is National Alzheimer's Month. I thank Kathy for coming, and I hope you'll enjoy MageeNews.com as we cover this subject.